The immune system for treating cancer. To understand how the immune system can be used to treat cancer, we must firstly understand what the immune system is. Every day, we come into contact with millions of germs, bacteria, and viruses that could potentially harm us or make us sick. But we are usually just fine. And that's because we have an immune system. The immune system is our body's defense against all the invaders that could harm us. There are two parts to the immune system. We have our armor that we are born with. These are things like our skin and our stomach acid that keep most of the invaders at bay. But for those that get around our first line of defense, we have an internal army of cells in our body that are always on the lookout for signs of invaders. If these signs are detected, the army of cells attack and destroy the invading enemy. There are many different types of cells that make up our immune system. Here are four really important ones. We have our macrophages, which act like foot soldiers, our dendritic cells, which act like intelligence officers, the cells which manufacture weapons, called B cells, and finally our T cells, some of which can act like generals, and others like highly trained assassins. When an invader comes into the body, the foot soldiers, such as this macrophage, attack the invaders, and they do this by swallowing them. Sometimes they can handle invaders all on their own, but other times they need help. Dendritic cells, which act like intelligence officers, can detect different types of invaders. Once they have done this, they run to their HQ, which is the lymph nodes. Your lymph nodes run throughout your body, and many of them are in your head, neck, armpits, and groin area. In the lymph nodes, dendritic cells can talk to T cells. If any T cell can recognize the different invader that the dendritic cell displays, it can become activated. General T cells are multitaskers, coordinating between the different immune cells. They tell the foot soldiers what the best plan of attack is. They can also call upon the weapons manufacturer, the B cells. B cells make seeker missiles called antibodies. Each B cell can make a specific antibody designed to attack a particular invader. Activated general T cells give an order to the B cell that is best able to target the enemy to make antibodies.
To make enough antibodies, this B cell clones itself millions of times and devotes all of its energy into antibody production.
The antibodies made by the B cell seek out the invader and mark them. The general T cells can then tell the macrophages to go out and destroy the invaders that are marked with antibodies. The macrophages set off and destroy the enemy. Other T cells act like armies of trained assassins, eliminating any body cells that have become infected by the invaders. These T cell assassins are extra clever because they recognize special MHC proteins on the surface of the target cell, which flag up any foreign invaders inside. But what happens in cancer when instead of invaders being present, our own cells are the problem and multiply out of control? Can our immune system protect us by finding and killing these rogue cells? Our immune cells are trained to ignore our normal body cells. but they are good at spotting things that look different, like infected cells. Infected cells can be dealt with by our macrophages.
Imagine our immune cells as colourblind. To them, cancer cells look very similar to normal cells.
This means that cancer cells are camouflaged from our immune system. This presents our immune system with our first big challenge: how to tell the difference between a normal cell and a cancer cell. By carrying out close inspection of our body cells, our immune cells can sometimes find and kill rogue cells at an early stage. However, sometimes cancer cells can adopt clever tricks to escape recognition and attack by the immune system. There are several ways cancer cells can do this. Here is one example. Cancer cells can take advantage of the immune system's natural self-control mechanisms. T cells have emergency stop buttons on their surface to make sure they don't go out of control. Cancer cells have come up with a clever way to hit that button when we really wish they wouldn't. By doing this, T cells are switched off and can no longer kill the cancer cell, which then manages to escape. Now, scientists are coming up with new strategies to block these cancer tricks and to help the immune system to find and kill rogue cancer cells. So far, they have come up with a range of new treatments called immunotherapies.
To understand how these immunotherapies work, let's look at how our T cells get switched off. Our immune system is so powerful that it can cause great harm to our healthy cells if it goes out of control. To prevent this from happening, the immune system has evolved checkpoints. Imagine a car slamming on its brakes and screeching to a stop as the lights suddenly turn red. The immune system does the same thing when the immune response becomes too aggressive, except the immune system's brakes are these checkpoints. Our immune cells have checkpoint receptors on their surface which act like emergency stop buttons. One important example of a number of checkpoint receptors on T cells is PD-1, which stands for Programmed Cell Death Protein 1. Cancer cells use a molecule called PDL-1, which stands for Programmed Death Ligand 1, and PDL-2, which stands for Programmed Death Ligand 2, to press PD-1 on the T cell. By doing this, they switch the T cell off and prevent the cancer cell from being destroyed. Scientists are now looking at antibodies to block PD-1 on T cells and prevent it being pressed by cancer cells. This unleashes a strong immune response. Blocking the interaction between cancer cells and immune cells is an approach called checkpoint blockade. Drugs that block cancer cells from switching T cells off are called checkpoint inhibitors. Checkpoint inhibitors are used in many different cancers, including skin cancer, lung cancer, kidney cancer, bladder cancer, head and neck cancer, and blood cancers. However, these drugs cause some problems. They have many unwanted side effects. Not everyone responds to them. If people are given these drugs but do not respond and still get side effects, they may be even more sick than before. Scientists still do not fully understand everything about how these drugs work. So the challenges for scientists are to reduce the side effects, to find a way of working out which patients will respond before they are given the treatment, and to keep working really hard. By doing more research, in the future, more people may respond to these drugs, and they may be used in other types of cancers as well.